Hi everybody, Dr. Pat here at House of Health 365, and today's segment is directed mainly at chiropractic doctors, especially new graduates. I have been practicing for about 25 years, and today's segment is mainly about all the things they did not teach you in school on how to be a successful doctor. And again, this can apply to any aspect of life, whether it's professional, doctor, lawyer, business, relationships, whatever. But again, this is mainly focused on the chiropractor, and especially the new graduate who doesn't always know what's ahead of them in terms of practice. Again, the things they don't teach you in school. I'm a very simple, Midwestern kind of a guy. I was born here, I've been raised here. I went to school in Atlanta, Georgia, at Life University, and I practice now in the Metro Detroit area in a city called Livonia. And so one of the things that I will share with you that I think is one of the biggest things that you can do as a new doctor is to always listen to your patients. And I don't just mean listen to their symptoms or what their complaints are. Yes, that's part of it. You have to listen to their symptoms and what they're complaining of in order to help, know what to do for them. But on a personal level, a lot of people just want to be heard. They want you to listen. They might be talking about their dog, their spouse, their vacation, any number of things that are completely unrelated to the visit in your clinic. If you're a good listener and you bond with your patients, that is one of the best things you can ever do, not only to help them out and help them feel important and special as you should, but also it's going to help your practice long term. Because they've already been to 2 or 3 other practitioners, whether they're chiropractors or DOs or MDs or whoever, that they were dissatisfied with, and most of that is because those other practitioners did not listen to them. So be a good listener, not just to what their medical complaints are, but also to their personal stuff too, because they want an ear. They want an ear that's sympathetic. So that's one thing. Another thing is a lot of people in our profession have big egos. Anything with a doctor title attached to it tends to bring a big ego, and you have to be careful of that. There's the temptation there to think, oh, I'm the big doctor, and I deserve all this respect, and so on and so on. And that's true, you do. You sacrificed a lot to get that degree and to be able to help people. But at the same time, don't let your ego get in the way. Everybody at my clinic is on the same playing field, whether it's me, the doctor, massage therapist, front desk, office manager, therapist, everybody, the janitor, everybody is treated the same way, including the patients. We're all on the same page. Nobody's better, nobody's higher or lower than the other. We're all treated equal. And again, it's important to delegate responsibility so that you can free yourself up to do some of the doctor type things. But again, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Go pull weeds, do the trash, shovel snow. I do all those things constantly. I plunge toilets. I do all those things because that's just how my work ethic is. That's how I was raised. And it makes you a little bit more grounded in your practice. It keeps you humble, and it makes you appreciate what a lot of people do on a daily basis at work, even if you're not supposed to do it as a doctor. So don't be afraid to get your arms or your hands dirty, roll up your sleeves, and get in there and do some things that aren't doctor-like. Another thing that I'll share with you is how you dress. I was taught early on to dress like a doctor, complete with a white lab coat and the dress shirt and the tie and the dress slacks and the dress shoes. And that's fine. If that is your thing, then go for it, whatever makes you comfortable. But I found that that's just not my personality. I am much more comfortable seeing patients every day in jeans or workout pants or t-shirts, dress shirts, casual dress shirts like this polo, loafers, sneakers. That's just my style. That's what's comfortable for me. You have to do what's comfortable for you. So try not to let anybody else dictate what it is you're supposed to be doing as a doctor, do what makes you feel good. Do what's unique to you, because that is what's going to shape you and make you unique to your patients. Another thing to consider is don't be concerned about money or finances. And I know that sounds silly and ridiculous, and you're laughing at me right now because I was in your shoes too. And I know what it's like when you're first starting out in practice. I know money is a worry, even in later years when you've been practicing for many, many years. Finances are still very important. But some people get really hung up on the numbers. They think, I got to see X amount of people to generate X amount of revenue. And yes, you have to be smart about it to keep yourself earning income to be able to continue to practice and to feed your family and have a roof over your head. But at the same time, do what's right. Do what's right for the patient. Try to work with them. Don't be so hard-nosed and rigid in your price structure, saying it's $100 for x-rays and $90 for the exam. And you're going to have those people that come in that just can't pay that have some kind of special circumstances that are preventing them from seeing you. So do the right thing. Be the good person. And that leads me into the next segment, is if you are patient and persistent and you're trying to do the right thing to help not only that patient in front of you, you have to remember that that patient you're seeing is somebody's mother, somebody's father, it's somebody's sister or brother, somebody's coworker. And that person is going to affect how the people around them feel at work or at school or at home. And it's going to have a ripple effect into the community. It's going to have a ripple effect into the city. It's going to have a ripple effect into the state, into the country, into the world, and so on and so on. It's this ripple effect that we all have. We're all connected to everything else, to each other in some very tangible but sometimes unseen way. So try to do what's right. I know it's not easy. Have that on your mind all the time. Praying, meditating, visualizing, those are all great things to do too for your practice and yourself personally, not just professionally, but personally. I do all those things too. Doing those things is important, but it's not the only thing to do. You could sit there and wish and meditate and pray and visualize all day long for a great practice or all kinds of patients or a happy life. But at the same time, you need to take action. You can't just sit there and think about these things. You actually have to go out and do things. You have to look for property. You have to secure loans. You have to get equipment. You have to conduct interviews. You have to look at resumes. There's all these things that you need to do in your business in order to succeed. And again, visualizing, meditating, praying, those are all good mental things to help get you in that mindset to propel you forward. But you also have to take action. So it's a combination of things. And I don't have all the answers. I'm just sharing with you what I've learned over 25 some years of practice. I know there are all kinds of seminars out there. There's practice management coaches. They can bring you in and you can pay thousands of dollars for a weekend seminar, and they will share with you some of these same kind of thoughts. I'm doing it here for free. I hope it helps. I know it's not quite as glamorous as some of the seminars that you might be seeing, but those are some of the key points that I would like to share with you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to share with you right now. Touching base again, I'm practicing ethically, not just for the patient's sake, but also for, say, insurance companies. Again, if you try to overbill or overcharge or do something that's not ethical, it's going to come back to bite you. Whether it's, overbilling or padding the charges or something else that you should never ever do, it's going to come back to haunt you. And it doesn't even have to be anything so overt as that. It could just be something as simple as not having your heart in the room with you and focused on that one patient. You could be talking to Mrs. Jones, but you're thinking about the bills you got to pay, or you're thinking about the fight you got in with your girlfriend, or you're thinking about the car repairs you got coming up. And if you get distracted, you are going to lose focus on what your intention should be, and that's getting that patient better. So always try to stay focused on that patient. It's not always easy. It takes practice, just like going to the gym to exercise. Going to the gym requires dedication. It requires persistence and patience. And once you do that, you get into a habit of doing that after a while. And the same goes for treating your patients. if you develop good habits with your patients over time, they will stick and they will just become second nature to you. And then word will get out and you'll have a ton of referrals. And that's another thing I'll talk about. How do you get new patients? I would say I see probably 80% of my patient base is from word of mouth referrals. I think that's pretty typical. I would say another 10% comes from drive-by, just people driving down the street. Another 10% is probably internet. And there might be a few percent in there that see something in print somewhere, but I really don't have anything in print anymore. I tried doing print advertising and it got me absolutely zero. I wasted a lot of money on that, so I would encourage you to stick mainly with word of mouth referrals. Have a good street presence somewhere out where you're visible to the main street, and also a good internet presence in your website. Recommendations or referrals by patients are huge. If you can get something handwritten or a little note that is a recommendation saying, Dr. Jerry helped me with my sciatica, Dr. Jerry helped me with my asthma, and get a number of these. These are great to put on your website. They're great to hang up in your office because people will see that and they say, oh, this guy's been doing this for a while. He's had good results. Nothing speaks louder than a testimonial from another patient. Especially so if it's a child. If people are willing to bring their children into you, that is a huge trust thing for people. There is no greater compliment than a patient bringing their child in to see you, because that is their most treasured possession, is that child. So that's just another consideration as far as how to get patients. Diversity in your clinic is another important thing. I started out just doing strictly chiropractic, just adjustments. And that's great. If that's how you practice, that's perfect. Whatever makes you happy. But then I started branching out, and I introduced massage therapy. I introduced decompression. I do cold laser therapy. I do ultrasound therapy. We do infrared saunas. We do light therapy. We do ionic detox. It's important, I think, to kind of have a complete toolkit that you can use to draw from, because not every person that walks through your door is just going to need chiropractic. Some people might not even need chiropractic, and I know I shouldn't say that, or they might not want chiropractic. They might want to do something else for whatever ails them, and they want nothing to do with chiropractic, and that's fine. That's their decision. So if you are ready to offer them something else in an ethical and well thought out manner, then go for it. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you're comfortable with administering that care to them. Another consideration as a doctor, a chiropractor, especially new graduates, and anybody, but especially new graduates, is apart from dressing like we talked about, dress what works for you, but at the same time you want to keep yourself well groomed, brush your teeth, brush your hair, shower, shave if that's your thing. You want to look decent in the sense of being well groomed and having good hygiene. Nobody wants to see a doctor or anybody that stinks of BO or has bad breath. You got to take care of those things. That's just the obvious. Keep your fingernails clean. That's one of the grossest things I've ever seen. And another thing that you want to consider is try to make sure that you are yourself a great example of being a healthy person. Try to exercise yourself. Don't smoke. Drink adequate water. Have a good diet. Have a good positive mental attitude. Visualize, pray, meditate. Do as many healthy things as you can for yourself, because you want to be a good example to these patients who are looking up to you. It's just a no-brainer. You are that person that they're putting you up on kind of a pedestal that they look towards for guidance. And you might be doing things or they might be watching you do things that you're not even aware of. They could be coming to you for chiropractic, but in the meantime, they're kind of looking at saying, oh, he works out a lot, or he goes to church regular. Those small things can be a huge part of a person's overall welfare that you're not even realizing that you're helping them with. So it's just good for them. It's good for you. It's just something to consider for yourself to really work on making yourself a more holistic, well-rounded person in terms of the whole health field. You don't want to go to a doctor who's, 300 pounds overweight, smoking 6 packs a day, who's got an alcohol problem, a drinking problem. That's not the kind of person you want to see. We all have our flaws. I'm not perfect. But again, you want to present yourself really well. Again, you have to be you. Don't model yourself after somebody that you're uncomfortable with. But at the same time, you want to be you, and you also want to come off as the professional that you are. Again, kind of a no-brainer. I think I kind of already touched on this when I was talking to you about how to treat patients and your staff, but I'll kind of reiterate this. Never ever in any conversation should you ever raise your voice or get angry, outwardly angry with your staff or your patients. Never, ever, ever. I have seen and heard so many patients who have come to me and said, my last doctor yelled at me because I did this or I did that. They yelled at me. They put me down. They made me feel stupid. You should never do that. A, it's just not nice. And B, you're going to lose that patient, because I wouldn't stick around if I was being put down. So, and again, why as a doctor do you think you're better than anybody else? That's not the case at all. You're there to serve that patient. You're not there to put them down. Yes, you have to get your point across, but there's a nice way to do it. And same goes with your staff. Never yell at your staff. Never put them down. They are your team. They are what's supporting you. They are there to protect you and to help you and to help you grow. And you are there to do the same thing for them. You are there to help guide them and to mentor them and to help them earn a living and to teach them things that you are learning about interacting with people and healthcare and making a living and so on and so on. You're teaching them all kinds of things. It's not just about a paycheck for them. Even though they don't know that, it's more than just a paycheck. So those are considerations too. Another thought about attracting patients. I have tried in the past to offer Groupons or specials or discounts or sales. And yes, sometimes you get a little bit of revenue from that, but it's never anything long-lasting. It's usually, those kind of gimmicks, and I'm going to call it a gimmick because it is a gimmick. I tried it because I thought it might be a good idea, and it never was anything long-lasting. You might attract a few patients that might come in for a couple of visits, but those people are just there because of the gimmick or the sale. They've got no desire to be there long-term. And that's fine. If they're there just for a couple of visits, that's okay. You still got something out of it, and you were able to help them with whatever their needs were. But 95% of the time, those kind of gimmicks lead to nowhere. So I would just tell you to just not waste your time on that, not waste your money or effort, because it's typically a dead end. I know the temptation will be there. The more you practice, you'll see this. You will see patients that come in for care that are very serious about their care. They really want to be healthy. They want to be out of pain. They want wellness. And of course, your job is to do that, to help them with that. And that's usually pretty easy to do. It's easy to help somebody who wants to be helped. But you will have the patient who comes in once every 8 months or once every 3 years, only when they're hurting. And you will be tempted to not treat them the same as you would somebody who's coming in for regular care. So the person who wants the care all the time to be healthy. You'll have the temptation to say, oh, well, they're not so concerned about their health. Why should I be so concerned about their health? They're not taking it seriously. They only see me once every 2 years. Why should I take their health so seriously and put all the effort into it? Because they're not doing it. Why should I? Well, that's just not the right way to think. That person deserves every bit of the effort and time and energy that you're giving everybody else. They deserve every bit of that care. There is somebody's mother, father, daughter, son, spouse. They could have a lot of people relying on them, and they need to be at their best, and that is your job to help them. So regardless of the circumstance, regardless if that patient can pay you your full fee, or if it's a charity case, or they seem somewhat uninterested in being healthy long term, it doesn't matter. Your job is to do all that you can to make them healthy. And if you do that, not necessarily through a referral through that person, but the universe at large, God, whatever you want to call it, is going to send you more patients, because you're there, you're trying to do the right thing. If you are patient and you're persistent and you're trying to do the right thing, and you're ethical in your you're ethical in your workplace and your routine and your protocols, you're doing everything that you should be doing, it can be a struggle for sure. But long term, you are going to make it. You'll be super successful. And I can say this because I've been through a lot myself. Everybody has. Everybody's been through divorces and bankruptcies and upheavals with family life, upheavals with business. Everybody's had something or another like that happen in their life. So it's just kind of like the baseline for everybody. I've been through a lot of that stuff myself, and I can tell you there have been times where I thought, wow, this is really a challenge. I don't know if I can make it in practice. And that was a long time ago. I used to think that. That was many, many years ago. And now here I am 25 years later still practicing, and I love my life. I love being a chiropractor. It is the best thing I could ever think to be. The funny thing is I thought I was going to be a veterinarian or an astronomer or a pilot or an astronaut or any number of things that I was interested in. But God had different plans for me, and He directed me into the health field and specifically chiropractic, and I love it. It's not a job. It's just a place I get to go. I get to see people that I know, all my patients, and who are, you become friends with them. You bond with them, and you're able to help them. You feel great at the end of the day. Every now and then you get some money because of it through insurance or cash. Oh, let me touch on that for a second. There's always the big controversy. Should I be an insurance practitioner or a cash practitioner? Again, do what you're comfortable with. I tried going all cash in the very beginning, and it was a struggle. A lot of people have insurance, and if they have insurance that pays, you should try to utilize that. It's kind of a pain waiting for the insurance companies to pay you in a timely manner. It can take weeks, it can take months. And I understand that as a new practitioner, it's hard to wait weeks and months to get paid. But if some of your patients have got insurance, try to utilize that. Also, don't try to be a salesman. Don't try to sell people on your care. Just be honest with them. Tell them, this is what you've got going on. This is what I can do to help. Now the decision is yours. That used to drive me crazy in early practice. I would try to help people. I would try to teach them what to do for themselves, how I can help them, and try to get them to come in and commit to care. And you can't make anybody do anything. It's that old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Same with us. They come in for help, they come in for the help, but you can't force them to keep coming. All you can do is explain it, say, this is what you've got, this is what I can do, the rest is up to you, and then just see what happens. If they want to continue care, great. If not, then just wish them well and be there if they ever come back. Well, that's about all the advice I can think to give all you new chiropractic doctor graduates. And not just the new graduates, but all the old doctors as well, like me. Hopefully it will help your clinic and your staff and your patients, and you'll all have a lot of success in years to come. Okay? This is Dr. Pat on the House of Health 365. And again, if you liked what you saw today, please click the like button below. If you really enjoyed it, please share it with your friends. And most importantly, please subscribe to our channel so we can continue to give you healthy ideas, tips, and instruction on how to have a better and healthier life. Okay? Everybody have a great night. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.